you want to let me know when we're good in terms of recording
I will.
on YouTube? Okay, thank you.
It's loading right now.
That was a 10-minute reboot I just did. May it be good tonight.
I was going to say, you were cutting it a little close there. You're making me nervous.
I was making myself nervous.
All right, we are live on YouTube. Give me 2 seconds to
let me know when we're good in terms of recording on YouTube. Okay, thank you.
Loading right now.
That was a 10-minute reboot. Hearing some feedback.
Yep, that was the YouTube. I just muted it. I'm sorry. Give me 2 seconds to put it on our Facebook page, and then we can start. And just let people know to go to YouTube. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and start, and I'll put it on there as soon as we get going. I'll let you. I don't want to hold this up. So go. It's your ball right now.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, and welcome everybody who's participating and anybody who's watching on YouTube, and then anybody who watches the recording later. This evening, I'm Blake Emanuel. I'm the president of the school board, Phoenixville Area School District. And this evening, I am joined by Dr. Alan Fagley, our superintendent, Dr. Leroy Whitehead, our assistant superintendent, Dr. Jessica Kilmetz, our director of curriculum, Mr. Don Grinstead, our director of athletics, and Ms. Sandy Claus, our director of communication and community relations. So thank you everybody for joining. We're going to go through some additional information and some updates we have since we did start officially on Monday. Recapping, the last board vote was on August 6th regarding reopening. We did decide to do the first quarter virtually, with the exception of some high needs populations. We are going to reassess October, the very beginning of October, and vote on October 9th regarding second marking period. We're going to consider lots of really important information. We have a pandemic team that is hard at work looking at criteria to base reopening on, to make recommendations to the board. We will continue to monitor recommendations that come out of the CDC, departments of health from PA and Chester County, and really just look at all of the factors that are involved in this very challenging decision. We will consider all that information and then vote again on October 9th for how we proceed for the second marking period.
Well, as President Emanuel said, we did start this past Monday. We started virtually. It was the most unusual start that I have ever experienced in my life, although it was a great start. Clearly, it's not how we wanted to start, but boy, I really do believe we hit it out of the ballpark in this case. Thank you for your notes that have come in, both to the principals, to the faculty, and to myself, Dr. Whitehead and Dr. Kilmetz. We really do appreciate them. Both the ones that are saying this is went really well, and those that are saying, hey, could you fix this? That's both very, very important. But most importantly for me right now, I want to give a great shout out to the teachers, the staff, the students, parents. You are absolutely all the best. Together we worked hard and we made it happen. And we're going to continue to make it happen. Thank you so much for working together in this absolutely fabulous community. So here are some of the ones that are new to our school district. These are our new teachers. It's tough to see their faces, we understand, but they're socially distanced with their masks on. But welcome to all our new teachers that are starting with us this year. We are going to be adding a few more as we always keep on growing and changing. But welcome to this great group. And most importantly, welcome to the class of 2033. I'm shaking my head when I think it's the class of 2033 that we're already welcoming to this school year. But welcome, boys and girls. We can't wait to see how you grow into young adults and graduate in 2033. Great to have you on board. Great to be ready to watch you grow and thrive.
And luckily, over the past few days, we've had some opportunities for face-to-face interaction at various grade spans and levels. So these are some pictures from Barkley and Manavon of our student supply distribution and our teachers saying hello to their students, and students just getting excited about school and getting their materials. These are some pictures from Schuylkill, same thing, where we had some meet and greet opportunities for staff and students. And here you can see our high schoolers getting their textbooks, saying hi to their teachers, and spending some much needed time interacting with each other as well. And some great pictures from Manavon. Our first grade and kindergarten meet and greets, as well as materials distribution, are going to be ongoing over the next couple of weeks. You should hear directly from your child's teacher about these opportunities, which may be a drive-by opportunity, a small group opportunity, or a whole class opportunity to interact face-to-face with your child's teacher.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kilmetz. We are so fortunate and so blessed in our district to have teachers and students and technology department that are very skilled. And one of the things that we talked about in the past couple of months really are creating a bank of videos to really assist our parents and students with our technological tools that we have. So I'm going to ask Mrs. Claus to just click on that video link if we could, or Dr. Fagley, who's ever controlling the screen. There we go. This takes you right to our Canvas tutorials. And if you scroll down on the website, you'll see a number of Canvas resources and general resources regarding Zoom as well as Canvas. And I have to say, a lot of these videos that you see before you there, I really strongly encourage everybody to check them out. Even if you're, quite frankly, even if you're not having any issues with Canvas or Zoom, really check them out because they're really filled with some really great tips. And I will tell you that a lot of these were made by our students, some of our National Honor Society students at the high school. Some of them were made from some of our Canvas super users throughout the district. So I just want to take an opportunity to thank everybody for spending the time to create these very informative videos. I'm a pretty skilled guy in Canvas, and I even learned some good tips. So please check them out. And also, as always, if you have issues or concerns with Canvas or Zoom, please reach out via the website if you have any issues or concerns. Okay, there's been a lot of conversation regarding homework. So just to kind of step back in time in history a little bit, we spent prior to last year with a large committee that really took a look at homework and spent a whole year really examining, looking at national research, looking at special research, looking at what other school districts are doing. We spent a lot of thoughtful time in creating a very thoughtful, differentiated homework policy for elementary, middle, and high school, which we began to pilot those new guidelines last year. That is until March 13th rolled around. And we now find ourselves in a virtual environment. And again, we listened to parents' concerns. We certainly did not want students spending a large portion of the day on screens and then having to spend another several hours on the computer at night. We really wanted folks to get out and enjoy. So I want to just walk us through these expectations. Elementary, really, it's just about finishing the Canvas work that you may have been assigned that day, whether it's science or social studies. We really want students to get out, get outside, get some fresh air, and play, just play. We think that that's super, super important. And again, please contact your respective teacher or teachers at the elementary level if you are having difficulty with it. That's really what we want for the elementary students. At the middle school, next slide. Really, middle school, we have really spent a lot of time on these in-service days, and we'll be spending time on Friday, tomorrow, to really look at compacting those core classes. So it's really about core class work and really distilling out what's essential concepts. So there may be some homework material assigned, but only essential work. And we're really paring that down because we realize, again, even with middle school students, we want middle school students to get out and enjoy some fresh air and sunshine as well. We will not be giving homework in non-core classes. And again, so that is strongly being discouraged. There may be an occasional fun assignment in those classes, but again, no regular homework in those non-core classes in the high school. High school, obviously, students who are in AP upper rigorous, those very rigorous courses, there's going to be some, because of the research component in those AP classes. It's important that we keep that rigor. So when those students sit down to take those AP exams, they're adequately prepared. However, regular coursework really is about skill reinforcement and making sure that any assignment that is done is specific to skill reinforcement and really distilling it down to those essential skills, even at the high school level. So again, differentiating that through the environment. Thank you. Okay. Technology, we are still, obviously, if you have a technology need or know somebody who does, please reach out to the helpline that you see there on the screen. I know that something went out today in the Phantom News with a phone number there, Mr. Gibson directly, our technology director. So please, we still have laptops available, or if you're having connectivity issues, I think we're getting pretty caught up. Our helpline, we've all pitched in to answer the helpline. I've been answering some myself. Dr. Gilmetz has been answering some. So again, if you are having access issues or software issues or hardware issues, please reach out and contact us and let us know. We will get you the help that you need. Some conversation regarding laptop camera use, and this has been in the news lately, and a lot of people have been talking about this. Obviously, we want to respect, we're coming into your home. We're guests in your home, and our teachers know that, and we've had a lot of conversation about striking a balance here with laptop camera expectation. So really what we're looking at is when teachers are introducing a new concept, again, because we are synchronous, but if the teachers are introducing a new concept where we really want to see some of those nonverbal cues, like nodding head and smiling, thumbs up, those kinds of things, we would really like to encourage students and staff members to really keep those cameras on. But we also want to respect balancing that with privacy concerns and understanding and respecting that privacy. So again, if you have some of those concerns, please reach out to your child's teacher. We do have, folks that have a little anxiety about being on camera like this, and that's okay. We want to respect that. We want to respect the privacy and equity issues that may arise. Again, so we're attempting to strike that balance. If you're uncomfortable keeping that camera on, it's okay. We're going to respect that. Okay, I'll turn it over to Madam President.
Thank you. And one other piece I would like to add, if you're, in addition to that phone number for technology support, if you go onto the PASD website under departments, you'll find technology, and there's a wealth of resources there, including a tech form to submit in addition to phone numbers to contact. So lots of ways to get in touch if there are issues. Regarding technology for all, we are very fortunate to work with PCEF, and they have done a wonderful, incredible job of supporting our initiative to ensure that all students not only have access to the devices, but also internet access. So if you feel so moved, please consider, you can see the link right in front of you. The Together We Can fund that PCEF has is going towards our COVID initiatives, one of which is technology for all and ensuring that all of our students can access their education.
Mrs. Emanuel, if I can just piggyback on what you're saying there, because I think, with the first week of school for our students coming to a close, I think parents understand the need, the absolute need to have that internet connectivity to be able, for their children to be able to do anything. And a lot of the families in our district, unfortunately, do not have, that's a luxury for them. And it's not something that is in, that they can afford to do. So PCF is stepping up, and it's a really important thing. And I think one of the lines that they used in the email that went out of, these are all our kids, and we want to make sure that they all have the opportunity, for the success that we all want for our own children. So I just wanted to add that to the eloquent statement you already made. So thank you.
Extracurricular activities. For some students, actually for many of our students, these are the heart and blood of what makes them want to come to school, especially as they're hitting the middle school and the high school years. But those elementary students love their plays, they love their choir, they love the band, they want to be part of something in the school. So we are looking hard at how we ensure that we do keep extracurricular activities going. We're still trying to figure a number of them out, but we're going to talk with you about some. So at the elementary level, we really would like to see every student involved in at least one extracurricular activity. And at the middle school and high school, we would like to see students involved in at least 2 extracurricular activities. If you join us at our board meeting this coming Monday, you will actually see a long list of all the extracurricular activities that are being offered and that we have and continue to work through. So please give us a few more moments of grace, shall we say, as we work through these and figure out exactly which ones can run and will not be able to run given the current conditions. But also understand that as the year goes on, we'll be making changes because there will be changes in the guidance. Just like everything has changed up until now, I expect things to continue to change.
I want to echo Dr. Feckley's points. It's extremely important that our young people stay engaged and stay involved with what we're doing and what they're doing, what they're interested in. That we realize that not every child falls in love with the academic part of school. At least early on, we all hope that they grow to do that. So having extra activities and clubs to be a part of is extremely important. We are doing everything we can to narrow those down to figure out what we can do virtually, how creative we can be to continue to offer those, and just give our kids a platform and an outlet to express their talents. Talents come in many different forms, and that's not always athletics. It's not always academics. Sometimes it is a drama club, or sometimes it is the band, or whatever the case may be. So we want to provide every opportunity we can for our kids to still be successful. As you see on this slide, there's a list of things that we're still working on. We're still trying to figure out. As Dr. Feggy said, please be patient with us. But I promise every day we are working a little more toward figuring these things out and giving our kids all the options we can provide.
Mr. Grin said one of the areas that has been figured out is the middle school fall play. They already actually have found a Zoom musical or a Zoom play that they're going to be able to do. So we are going to be moving forward with the fall play at the middle school. That is the creativity that we need right now in order to be able to keep these activities running. And pleased that the board is very much engaged and wants the activities to run.
And if I could interject, we do have one of our parent questions right now is, what was the rationale for not offering instrumental lessons for 4th graders?
Dr. Whitehead, do you want to take that one? Or would you like me to? You're muted.
Sorry, there you go. Sorry about that. I can start, and then certainly you can jump in, Dr. Fegley. Obviously, instrumental lessons require the transference of blowing into an instrument. And so we had a lot of thoughtful discussion with Mr. McAdams, who is our district coordinator for music. We looked at a number of research studies, some of that were commissioned from the national music organizations. And we really felt, and looking at that study, we really felt even with covers on the instruments and things like that, in the proximity of being inside a room, that those droplets and that transference really still posed a danger, an issue for possible transference of that. So we're doing a lot of those kinds of things online, and then the music teachers are engaging the students online and working with students via Zoom. And it's not the ideal situation, but again, having students physically come in the building, it's just.
So, and just then to add to that, because I don't think that was the basis for this question. This individual, I believe, is asking about new students. So 4th graders, typically that's their first year that they can do the wind instruments. What was the rationale behind those that have already started being allowed to continue via Zoom versus new students starting with a new instrument?
Yeah, my apologies. So that, in discussing that with, thank you, President Emmanuel. Discussing that with Mr. McAdams and the other instrumental teachers, they simply felt that would be, if you're a brand new student and that it's your first start with an instrument, it would really be just too difficult to do that in this kind of modality that we're in right now. Again, as a music teacher myself, I kind of understood that and respected that. And it's very difficult, to those fingerings and things like that. I have to, if I'm helping a student, I'm thinking back to my music teaching days. If I'm helping a student with clarinet fingerings, I may actually have to, show that. And it's very difficult to do that, via Zoom.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, so while we're in that Zoom world, it's going to be very difficult. Hopefully, if we get back to the hybrid world, we'll be able to start doing some of that work. Keep looking at all the research, though, to know what we're able to do.
We'll transition obviously to really a large topic over the last week. And I want to say on behalf of the athletic department and our coaches who have been really unbelievable in this situation, we respect our school board's decision, our school district's decision, the recommendation by our administration. We certainly understand the difficulty in making a decision like this when it comes to sports. And as you're seeing all around the state, and especially in our area in District 1, you have a lot of school districts that are battling with the same decision, and they're carrying on, trying to figure out a safe way to do this or trying to find another alternative. And I can assure you that we are seeking every alternative we can to eventually safely get our kids back on the field and competing. I've been the athletic director for 2 months, but I was a football coach for 20 years, and I'm a coach at heart, and my heart breaks for our kids. I've spent a lot of time and a lot of text messages and a lot of conversations with our kids over the last couple of weeks, and they're hurting, and I understand it. And as I've told them, it's okay to hurt. It's okay to feel that pain. But we got to find a way out. We got to find a way through. As administration, we are looking for every opportunity we can to find a safe way and a safe platform to provide sports again at some point, at least all of our sports. And as you see on the slide, right now we are saying safely that we can operate golf and singles tennis, marching band with 20 feet distance. So we're doing those things to still try to keep the kids engaged. But I really want to give a shout out to our coaches who are doing a tremendous job of keeping our kids active, worrying about their physical health and their mental health and workouts right now. If you go to our campus on any given night, you'll still see teams working out. They're being as safe as they possibly can, as cautious as they possibly can, but still a lot of kids on our campus at night. And for me, and I know everybody feels this way, schools are meant for kids. It's not meant for anything else. Schools are built for kids, and it's a very lonely place when they're not there. So to have them on our campus, still engaging in sports, still socializing to some degree with their teammates and their coaches, really warms my heart. And I want to assure our parents, while I understand your pain and your frustration as well as our kids, please know that any opportunity we get and any other adjustments that may come as a result of this, we will certainly take a look at. And there's school board's going to have more dialogue on this next week. So I'm hoping in the coming weeks that we'll be able to figure out some other alternatives as we go.
Mr. Grinstead, could you just elaborate, are all of the teams having some sort of skills practice, or what is happening with each of the teams?
So football originally took a couple of weeks off. And I think that, for people who really understand sports, football is a little different dynamic. And it's really, I broke the news to those kids a couple of weeks ago, and it was a really tough situation. I wanted them to take a couple of weeks and kind of get their thoughts together and get their composure before we kind of picked back up and did some things. We're really in a tough spot with football because you can't use as much equipment as you would normally use for workouts, and it does require equipment use to really dig in and work out. But they're starting back next week. Coaches are excited. I met with the football coaches today. They're really excited. I know the kids are excited. We're ready to get back into it. The only sport that we currently, in the fall sport, that is not working out currently is volleyball. And that's just because logistically, it's really, really difficult. We can't really be inside. At the moment, we don't have a beach volleyball court. I know Dr. Fegley and I joked the other day about building one out in the parking lot really quickly. So they're the only athletic team that we currently do not have working out, but I am still exhausting every possibility to find a way to get them back on campus as well. But every other fall sport is still engaging in some skills and drills workouts.
So if I can, while we're talking, we're still staying on this, we have a middle school parent who's asking specifically about tennis for middle school, but what about any middle school sports?
We haven't made a decision yet. We are still monitoring our area. There's schools that are, again, they're still trying to make high school and varsity decisions and JV decisions as well as, we are ultimately. But everybody is really still trying to fill this out and logistically figure out how we can do this. We're getting a lot of feedback from referee organizations, from busing companies, and logistically just figure out how we can do this. We've already seen a couple of local teams withdraw their middle school sports for the fall. So to answer the question as plainly as we can, it's to be determined. Every day things are changing, and we hope to have some resolution, at least to be able to give some concrete direction here in the next week or two.
Yeah.
Thank you.
School supplies. So we have started, and even though we're virtual, our students still need school supplies. So 2 pieces to this. If your child needs supplies, please make sure to email their principal or guidance counselor. And if you are so moved, again, PCEF, supporting our families and our kids, if you are willing to donate, they provide backpacks to elementary age students and general school supplies to our middle and high school students for those that have a need. So please consider donating and make sure if you need assistance to reach out. Food. So this has changed a little bit, but not really. It's changed on our end, not on yours. We are still distributing food 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, from 10:30 to noon at our 5 locations around the school district. The change for us is that we will ask for a name or PIN number for the students if possible. However, I cannot emphasize this enough. If you have a child that has a need for food, please, please, please make sure you take the food. If they do not qualify, if there are some other extenuating circumstances, we will manage it. But I just want to make sure that all of our kids have food, all of them. So if you don't have that information, please don't drive away. We want to make sure that everybody has food. We are still providing adult food as well. And on Fridays, we provide weekend food. So it's a bag of non-perishables topped off with some produce. So those activities are still going on. And I just ask that if you know somebody who is in need, to make sure that they have this information, or if they think that because maybe they can't provide a PIN or maybe they can't remember their student ID number that they can't come, that's not true. We want everybody, every child needs food. We want to make sure that that need can be met.
Mrs. Emmanuel, we put something in the Phantom News that went out today about the efforts to lobby the federal government to support all of our families. And would you like to address that at all, or just ask people to look at their Phantom News to make sure they're getting that information?
Sure, I can do what I have a 10-second shtick on it. I've been calling around a lot on this issue. So the reason we have to ask for PINs now is that waivers that we had previously had from the USDA have expired. So our goal right now is to get an extension of those waivers so that any child that comes up in need. So for example, we have been feeding preschoolers and younger children with no questions asked because of these waivers. Our ask is that the USDA extend those waivers throughout the duration of these challenging times. So we are petitioning Congress and the USDA. There is more information there. There's currently a letter that's going around to school districts and state representatives. We're trying to get the word out that this really needs to be addressed so that we can meet the needs of our children. Thank you for mentioning that.
So this comes to the end of our formal presentation. I'd like to thank you all for working with us and continuing the conversation. As I said at the beginning, this is not how we wanted to start. It's not where we want to end, that's for sure. But through our conversations, through working together, we will keep making this better and better for all students. I've been heartwarmed by the great comments that we've been receiving. I've also been heartwarmed by the areas for improvement, because you know what? We know we need to keep improving. We know we need to keep on growing. But the only thing I can assure you is that I know that this information that we have right now and that we presented tonight will probably change within the next week. It's been what has been taking place over time, and it will continue until we figure this out more. Not us just figuring it out, but really the country and the medical experts figuring it out. So thank you. And if you have any questions, please write them so that we will be able to answer those for you.
So Dr. Fegley, you're talking about feedback, and one of our attendees asked, what feedback, if any, have you received from teachers about how things are going? Anything parents can do to help?
Sure. Dr. Kilmetz, would you like to start? See your mic opening.
Yeah, absolutely. So our instructional coaches who are teachers themselves and parents themselves who have students learning online at home right now, same as many of us, they created a very short video. It's about 11 minutes in length that goes through some tips and tricks for helping your child to be successful as they can be in the online learning environment at home. We'd really encourage you to watch that video. There's tips about setting up space, but there's also tips about just talking to your children about their work, what to do if your child says to you, hey, mom or dad, I need help with this particular assignment, and just some good general advice. So we'd love for you to check out that video and get in touch with us if you have any questions, comments, or you want to talk more about it.
When I talked to some of the teachers the other day, they had told me that it definitely was different, but they were really thrilled about how many students did show up to class, you know, because in the spring it was a little bit more loosey-goosey, shall we say, and now it is much tighter, and they were thrilled with that. They were happy with the engagement they were seeing from the students. Actually, in one school that has about 500 students, on the first day, I'm still getting all the stats, all but nine students showed, which is absolutely incredible. That is a very, very low average on any first day. So that was wonderful. Yes, we're going through the hurdles. We're working through all the little kinks, but overall the feedback I've heard is that they're very pleased with how it's going.
And everybody's very happy to see each other.
Yes.
If I can just piggyback on back to what Dr. Kilmet said, that video and all of these videos are on the Virtual Academy page on our the reopening school. So if you go on there, there's a parent resources section, and all of those videos that Dr. Whitehead showed earlier and that Dr. Kilmet is talking about are on those pages. We also, I don't know who to send this to. We have a question about school photos, which I had not even thought about yet. So have we even thought about how that might work?
I'm going to be honest and say I have not thought about school photos yet. My guess is that I know they took the senior pictures over the summertime, so they do have the seniors done. So we had the yearbook pictures ready to go, et cetera. And those pictures will be coming in. But with regards to the other pictures, thank you for reminding of that issue, and we will have to get back to you.
We did just have another comment that I'm just going to add. That was it's in the chat column that just saying agreed. Thank you to the teachers and the faculty for just showing how it can be done, which is yeah, we're pretty proud of all of them. That's for sure.
I did receive one comment today, Mrs. Claus. It was from a parent, it was to a principal, and the principal forwarded it to us. But they just said how thrilled they were to be new parents in the district, and they were giddy with the responsiveness of the teachers and how the teachers really worked to make sure that their children were engaged. As a matter of fact, they said they were more engaged this year and more challenged this year already than they had been in their other school. And that was during typical times. So thank you. You know, that again, that's just a great shout out to our faculty. Thank you for all your hard work. We really, really appreciate it.
So I'm not seeing any more questions. Hopefully, if people have questions or comments, that you can use either the Q&A feature or the chat feature.
We do have another question that just popped up. Is there an update on school yearbooks from last year? Our sixth grader keeps asking.
Let's see if we can reach out to Dr. Renzulli to find out.
Yeah, that. I'll look into that.
Well, give us a minute. We'll see if we can find the answer for you.
Yeah, are there any other families, parents that are watching who have any questions? Throw them at us. We got another one. Okay, maybe remind people to check the school calendar. I understand it changed last week. I tripped upon that info. So that's an excellent point. It didn't change last week. It changed, I want to say 3 weeks ago. But yes, if you looked at your school calendar a month ago, we did change it a little bit. We did add, we front loaded our in-service days so that we could make sure that our teachers had what they need as we adjust to this new reality. So definitely please check the school calendar. We are off tomorrow. Just heads up. Here's another question. Most websites, some of the teachers reference, and even online textbooks are blocked on the district laptops. Are there ways to enable this?
Yes, there are. That's new for me. So I had not heard that I'm not saying some of the websites haven't been blocked, but there is a way for the teacher to unblock it prior to sitting there and referencing it. But if there's a textbook issue, would you please immediately send a message to your principal so that we can make sure that your laptop is taken care of.
I would also add to Dr. Fegley that restarting your laptop is extremely important for some of these updates. And you might find that certain things would be unblocked after that as well. I was talking to our tech department this afternoon, and they had encouraged us to encourage families to restart your computers at least once a week, but we would say even more frequently. That will make sure that new updates are pushed out to you as regularly as we're able to provide them. I also saw that someone else in the chat had mentioned the Remind app, and I'd love to spend a few minutes talking about that as well. Canvas, as you all know, is our learning management system where you can find teacher resources that teachers have provided for students, as well as materials and links to various things, assignments, quizzes, all of those kinds of things can be found on Canvas. But the new feature that we've added this year that we think you will find very helpful is called Remind. And some of you may know it as Remind 101, which is what it used to be called a few years ago. Our teachers have used Remind for a good number of years. I used it as a teacher myself as well. It's a great communication tool because what it allows you to do is to communicate with your child's teacher, and in the older grades for your children to communicate with your child's teacher. All those communications are visible to us as administrators, and they're secure. So your phone number is not revealed, the teacher's phone number is not revealed, but the teacher can push out a message to a class, to parents, and you could text back if you have a question or comment or concern. There's some great communication that can occur that way when notifications like that are pushed directly to your phone. We'd also encourage you, if you haven't tried Remind before, to maybe consider downloading the app to your phone. You shouldn't have to join your child's class with codes this year. You may have done that in the past, but this year we have actually rostered everyone in Remind. So you already have an account created. So if you've never used Remind before, you may have seen an email come through that said, hey, you now have a Remind account. And if you have used Remind before, you'll see that same email, and it will allow you to merge your old account with your new account. And you won't need to join each of your child's individual classes or join, the one homeroom class. If you have an elementary child, it will automatically join for you. You can change your notification settings to opt out of certain things that you may not want to receive, or add an additional phone number if you want grandma or grandpa to also be getting the messages from your child's teachers.
I think I know what our next video is going to be.
Yep, absolutely.
So I actually wanted to add one piece to the restart the computer thing, and then we do have another tech question. So I just want to clarify, it's a conversation I had with my own child this afternoon, the difference between turning it on and off again and restarting. So when we say restart, we mean pull up that window, and instead of shutting it down and turning it back on again, restart the computer. That actually does make a difference. So just wanted to make sure to add that piece. Next question is, have you heard of laptop users experiencing an issue with the user profile settings at the start up and it lagging? My gut reaction to this is that needs to be forwarded to tech. Like, so if the family could forward their concerns to tech, but does anybody else have any thoughts on this one?
Again, we would recommend restarting the computer too to see if it improves first. That solves so many, probably about 75% of most of our tech issues.
And if that doesn't work, then please, reach out to the tech department and we'll see if there's something wrong with one of the settings for you. So thank you.
Thank you.
So just jumping back to the school yearbooks, I was texting Dr. Renzulli, and I also see in the chat, there's a comment from somebody who's obviously a Schuylkill parent, was involved. Schuylkill was trying to get those yearbooks from LifeTouch, but LifeTouch was operating at a reduced percentage as well. So this person who is the coordinator, the parent coordinator, was really trying to get them in. Dr. Renzulli and her parent team are working on this. They're aware of it. They want to get to the sixth graders their yearbook. So it's in progress.
Mr. Grinstead, there is a question regarding sports that I'm going to bounce back to you. It says, will there be an effort to coordinate with other districts in our conference? Would hate to be among a few not to participate.
Well, I think as we're seeing in the last few days, last Friday when the PIAA made the decision to proceed with fall sports as normal, starting on August 24th, other school districts started making decisions about the viability of doing that for their particular school district. Had ours had done a few weeks prior. I think what's happening now is quite a few schools have pulled out in District 1. We just saw the Philadelphia Catholic League pull out a couple of days ago, which also includes Pope John Paul and Bishop Shanahan, 2 other local school districts. Some Chestmont schools have pulled out. The entire Del Val has pulled out. What we are hoping for as an administration is that for options. We are hoping that there are going to be more options that come about here in the next couple of weeks. That's going to provide us an opportunity to then engage with other districts or other teams locally in District 1 to maybe eventually have a fall sports season in some fashion. Again, our whole purpose is to advocate for our kids and find a way to safely do this when it's appropriate and it's viable for us to do it. So absolutely, if the position creates itself, we're going to do that. We're going to pursue every opportunity we can if it's the right time and it's healthy enough to do it.
The next question that came up is about Chester County Department of Health's in-school hybrid, and is the board discussing going back a little bit earlier because they changed and they're actually recommending they go back on October 9th based on the number of average case counts of positivity. In my discussions with the Chester County Department of Health, they have put out the October 9th date, and that is the date for making the decision is where they're talking about what we may want to do based off the numbers as we've seen them leading up to that point and then project it moving forward. The Department of Health has actually recommended that we take up to 3 weeks from the time we make a decision to start coming back in, to start moving us back in. So the October 9th, 15th date that we have for the board to sit there and make a decision does line up with us coming back in on November 1st or right at the start of the second marking period. So yes, we are looking at that. Dr. Whitehead and his pandemic team are taking all that information. We're going to be reviewing it, and we're going to be figuring out what's the best way to start hopefully bringing kids back in sooner than later. But it's going to be imperative that we make sure that the numbers keep going down. We're not there yet. And actually, there's been a slight rise in a couple of the areas surrounding us, and we want to make sure it doesn't go up any further. The other concern everyone has right now that we talked about with the doctors from Children's Hospital today was Labor Day. Labor Day, there is a great concern that there's going to be a bump, and that bump will take place in the 2 weeks following Labor Day. So my encouragement to everyone is, yes, we want to be with friends, we want to be with family. If you're doing that, please wear a mask, be outside, stay 6 feet apart. The doctors at CHOP today could not overemphasize the importance of the two things, staying 6 feet apart and wearing a mask. They actually even gave an example today of a hairstylist in another state that ended up testing positive, and they figured that she had probably been positive for about a week as one of those the folks that doesn't show any signs but is out there very, very active. The good news is she wore a mask the entire time that she was doing hairstyling, and every one of her clients wore a mask every time she was doing hairstyling. And they checked and tested every single one of those folks, and not one of them ended up having COVID. So they said it is the mask, and then it is the distancing, and it's also the amount of time that you're near a person. So if you're within the range of 6 feet and unmasked for more than 15 minutes, that's often the time that you will sit there and spread COVID. If you're less than that, your chances keep decreasing. It's not zero, but they keep decreasing. So my encouragement is please wear a mask, keep your distancing. Let's get through Labor Day, and let's hope that the numbers don't go up so significantly that it slows us down from coming back in. Because right now, Chester County is on the right track. We are going down on our numbers. We are looking much better. That's a message.
Any other questions? I mean, that's it for all the questions. Oh, here comes one. Can you explain how you will keep the athletes safe while running and competing in sports, especially with the increased aerosols that are spewed while running? They can't be socially distanced while competing, and they can't wear masks.
That is one of the reasons as a district, we're not recommending cross country right now. For example, we did show the board back on August the 6th, some diagrams about aerosol sprays that go behind a runner, and they last for approximately 30 feet. So Yes, that is one of the great concerns. That's why we're not doing contact. That's why the practices, and Mr. Grinstead can talk about this a little bit more. We're keeping them in lines. We're having them go straight so that we're not having them go into the aerosols of each other. But cross country and running, we do have to be very, very careful about that. Absolutely agree.
Oh, absolutely. In our team workouts right now, we are trying to stay as in straight lines as possible with athletes behind other athletes to stop the projectile of aerosols as best we can, trying to stop them from being side to side as much as possible. It's just a matter of being conscious all the time of where we're standing and how we're moving as much as we can. Again, I think what you're saying too is a lot of schools are choosing to run cross country, and I think we were very diligent in our research and our advice from medical experts that aerosols is becoming more of a topic in this discussion of COVID. And we're very cognizant of that and just trying to make good choices.
Thank you. Any other parent questions? There's none in the box, but keeping an eye on. Yep. If we return with a hybrid schedule, will the board consider A/B schedule being Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday each week versus every other day, like other surrounding schools have proposed? This will help provide regular weekly schedule for families and allow for a full day in between groups for cleaning.
That is actually one, just so you know, folks, that is one of the options that we are looking at, keeping the 6-day cycle, but looking at a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Wednesday actually being with the one group. So group A would go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 1 week, and group B would go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday the following week. So we are looking at that type of schedule.
And part of this discussion ultimately, I mean, as we see things change, as we see what is working and isn't working, to Dr. Fagley's point earlier, it's all on the table. It's all on the table. We're considering it all, and we're going to continue considering it and integrating all the new information that we get as we get it so that we can make the best decision for our students, our staff, and our community possible.
And I would just add, the pandemic coordinators meet regularly. The pandemic coordinators from all the school districts now are meeting regularly. We're comparing, hey, if we go back, what's your phased-in approach going to look like? And then they're bringing that information back to the local pandemic team. So there's a lot of good communication in the county that's happening now, which is really good.
And I would just encourage parents to continue to give us feedback and suggestions on things. I mean, a lot of the decisions we made this year were based in part, at least, on ideas that came from parents, or with you telling us what was working or what wouldn't work. So that feedback is extremely important. Any of us on this chat are happy to receive those questions or suggestions, as are your building principals, any of the administration. Seriously, we need your help.
Last call for questions. Okay, I'm seeing none. So why don't we do wrap-up thoughts? What we typically do during these sessions is we'll go through each person and follow up with some last-minute thoughts, etc. So, Mr. Grinstead, would you like to go ahead and share anything you'd like to? I just threw him under the bus, and he hasn't done this yet. I'm going to take that back. Dr. Kilmetz, I'm going to throw you under the bus.
I'm fine.
Good.
Okay, I apologize.
Thank you, President Manuel. I just want to say, I want to thank all the parents out there. We've gotten a lot of feedback over the last few weeks about what sports mean to your child, or student activities and clubs mean to your child and your family as a whole. And please understand from our perspective, I can tell you personally, it means exactly the same for me or more. I have a son myself who's a senior. He's not going to, as right now, he wouldn't play his senior year of football. He's a 3-sport athlete. He's heartbroken as well. So these don't fall on deaf ears. We certainly understand. And I just want you to know that everything that we can do from our end to keep our kids engaged, both mentally and physically, and keep them, just as much of a team as we possibly can, we're doing. And any opportunities we get, any options that we're given, we're going to pursue, and we're going to continue to advocate for your kids, our kids, and give them every opportunity they have to be successful in the classroom, on the fields, and on the court. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your feedback. And have a great start to school year. I know it's an adjustment.
Thank you. Dr. Kilmetz?
I'd like to echo those same sentiments for curriculum and instruction as well. Our teachers have Definitely been reaching out to families this week, and there's been lots of emails, lots of remind messages, lots of Canvas messages, lots of phone calls, and that's wonderful. And we want to keep those lines of communication open. So please, if at any point you have any questions, concerns, comments, reach out to your child's teacher, reach out to any of us, reach out to our tech helpline, watch a video on our website. We are so here to help you and to support you and to support our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Whitehead.
Sure. A real-time example, Dr. Kilmitz and I got a communication today from a parent and one of the assistant principals at the high school regarding some questions about the Canvas calendar. And I'm giving a real-time situation. We're taking a look at that and how we can make it a little streamlined. It's feedback. So that's a real example. I don't know if that parent's watching tonight, but I wanted to give a shout out. We are really, I think, the positive comments that we're seeing, and thank you to those that just shared a lot of the positive comments in the chat. That means a lot to us, but it's a cycle because you're giving us that feedback. We're going back and we're refining and refining and refining. And I think that's the key. And we need to just continue to do that in the coming weeks. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We know that parents are really busy right now with kids at home and trying to balance work. And it's a challenge. But as Dr. Fagley mentioned, Phoenixville is rising to that challenge. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Dr. Fagley.
Obviously echoing what everyone has said. Please, if you're having a technology issue, please go look on our website. Please give a call to the technology helpline. We're here to help. We want to get these problems resolved as quickly as possible. If you know somebody who has not reached out to get their computer, please encourage them to come in, get their computer. We're going to start delivering computers to some people pretty soon because we still have some that are sitting there that have been asked for. But let's get everybody with their computer tomorrow so that when we start on Monday, we have everyone online, everyone ready to go. Additionally, if you do know of somebody who needs internet service, please reach out to them, let them know that we are here to try to help. If we can't come to them right away, please know if you come to Washington Field area on our fields or out to the Manavon fields, you can get on our internet. The student can sign on to the internet from those field areas or from outside of most of the schools. Nicely socially distanced. Hopefully the weather's a little bit better than today because it was a little too hot today to be outside. But seriously, come to the school, be outside the school, please. Let's get on for, make sure everyone's online. But thank you, Phoenixville. Thank you for being absolutely amazing. I see one question came in. Yes, there's a 180-day requirement. And yes, Phoenixville is reaching its 180-day requirement. We are doing it. We have our calendar in. Thank you.
I was just typing that message.
And I typed the same thing. I actually won that one because I hit send. That's so we answered it 3 ways. Excellent. Just want to echo everybody else's sentiments. I mean, please continue to reach out. Please ask questions at every single level. If your child is struggling, we need to hear. The teachers need to hear. The building administrators, we will all work together. These are really challenging times for everyone in many different ways. So we're working together. We're going to figure it out. We won't get it all perfect every time, but we're going to work to keep improving and keep doing everything we can. We will continue these chats. I don't want to commit everybody. We haven't had the discussion as to how long, but certainly while we're not sure, while there are still these really significant decisions to be made, we will do everything to communicate that through Phantom News, through email, through Facebook and social media, and through these chats. We do appreciate everybody who's participating, watching, viewing later, and everything like that. And my final ask would be, if you know a family in need or if you yourself are struggling, please consider utilizing the resources we have between PCEF, extra grant funding that we have applied for and received. We will absolutely make sure that we meet your needs because that is absolutely crucial to all of our families, to all of our students, and to us. So I just want to thank everybody so much for joining us this evening. Double check nobody has any final thoughts.
Mrs. Claus, do you have a final word?
Go ahead.
No, do you have a final word, Mrs.?
Oh, do I have a final word? I was just going to say, well, the recordings will be, you can access us on our YouTube channel if you want to go back and review anything, or it will be posted on the website probably on Monday.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all so much.
Have a great night.
Have a good one. Good night.
Right.
All right. All right, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah.
Well done.